Round 12 of the 250cc World Motocross Championship came to America, to Bud Creek, Maryland. And as you can see by the size of the equipment, we are most certainly here in the United States. Just look at this array of trucks. The Honda trucks there, the Yamaha factory racing team. They don't use pit bikes, they use trolleys. There's Bollé, Frédéric Bollé, the French youngster. Donny Schmidt, very much at home back in the States here is Donny. And it really hasn't been the best of years in the 250 ranks for Donny Schmidt. The bike there of Bollé, number 14. The Yamaha truck. Now just look at this. Fancy going to a motocross meeting in one of those. And that's the crate containing the parts and the bikes of 75 Yoki Carlson. And number 2, that's the crate with Stefan Everts' parts in, and there is the machine of Stefan, and there is Stefan with team manager Alec Wright. And Stefan, recently back RWJ's team rider, that's the machine of the Brit Robbie Herring. But just look at those trucks, and those are just for carrying the clothing. This is the bike of former US champion Jeff Stanton. There is Jeff Stanton, looking a touch thinner than he was last time I saw him anyway. So Stanton, certainly a favourite for here today. Greg Albertyn, 30 points in the lead in this championship. Coming here to round 12, Kurt Nicol, the British rider, number 4 on that Castrol Honda. And it had a great deal of overnight rain, as you can tell by the circuit conditions. Stefan Everts. And remember, Everts, back his first ride after breaking his collarbone in a freak training accident in Finland 2 weeks previously. He's got a 6-inch rod, or pin as one would describe it, in his shoulder. That can only be painful. But if Everts wants to have a crack at the championship, he's got to have a go at it. 92 there, that's the bike of Jeff Emig, the American. And as you can see, Everts receiving treatment to that broken collarbone and a great deal of pain. One can only applaud the young man for his courage, and just look at that for a workshop. Some of us don't live in houses as big as that. Greg Albertyn then makes his final preparations in the Suzuki truck, ready for the start of Heat 1. There's the bike of the championship leader. Well, with that overnight rain, the organisers here decided to make a few alterations. Got the trucks out, and the following day, very, very hot. Werner DeWitt here, number 7, walks through your picture with that little beard and moustache. 5'2½". There's Stefan Everts. It's very, very warm. The temperatures have soared. Number 5, Monique Bevorts, settles himself down and prepares his starting blocks. And a big crowd, fair dues to the Americans, have turned out en masse to enjoy some super motocross racing. 77 on the Pepsi-Cola Honda, a Frenchman, Yves Demaria, comes down onto the line first. He was the quickest. Number 5, Monique Bevorts on the Johnson's BFE Suzuki. Werner DeWitt there, number 7. Number 4, the Brit Kurt Nicol, with number 3, Donny Schmidt, and number 2, Stefan Everts. And I wonder what's going through his mind at the moment. Must still be in pain with that broken collarbone. Bearing in mind it was only 2 weeks away. And 39, that's Paul Cooper, the South African. He's got a problem. Carl Presswood, a fellow South African, he's mechanic, and the official there telling him he's got about 2 minutes to fix it. AMA racing here in the United States as the 15-second board gets hoisted. 5-second board spins around. The gate is going to drop any moment. Here we go. Bollé up the inside. That looks like Albertyn. And, well, there's a photographer standing right on that corner. And they've gone, well, that was Stanton's. That photographer, I understand, has just got well and truly wiped out, and it's broken his leg. Well, you don't stand on the first corner of a motocross track for the start if you want to survive. They've probably got some great pictures from floor level. It is 92, Jeff Emig from Dowd. Dowd, it is the second American, John Dowd, and the rest come screaming through. Well, so far it's America 1 and 2, and Albertyn caught up in that first corner melee. He's got a terrible start. 30 points leading into this championship, but just look at this. Jeff Emig, former 125 outdoor champion, John Dowd, and then it is Everts and the Belgium Stefan Everts. So we've got Belgium's 3 and 4, so chasing the two Americans, and that is the Frenchman Demaria, 77, on the Pepsi Honda back there in 5th, as the rest come screaming through, and Albertyn has got to really get some serious power down if he wants to keep that points advantage. Stefan Everts, the man that trails him by 30 points, and Everts is currently in front of him, so that's more points. Just look at that. High leaping, high flying American, Jeff Emig, with Dowd chasing in 2nd. There's Everts. He is still behind Everts. And then it's Demaria closing on those two, so the top 5 gone through. Oh, that's a big double. And there's Albertyn, all the riders safely getting over these big jumps, which is only normal for the United States. After all, they are one of the world's leading supercross riding nation, as one would say, so they're quite used to getting the wheels firmly off the ground. And look at this, it's a battle on here. How is he going to let him through? No! Well, Everts trying to get past second place man John Dowd, and in true American style, the door was firmly slammed straight in his face. Well, I'm sure Everts won't be too pleased about that. There's Albertyn going for a tear-off on his goggles, trying to get inside the riders in front, and that looked like number 8 Talon Volan, the American. Volan contesting the whole of the 250 championships this year, 1994, not just, as we call him, an interloper into one brand. And Everts in trouble there. Stefan Everts in trouble, letting Everts back through.
Number 79.
92 it is, Jeff Emig. We're looking back for 2nd, 64, John Dowd. Then it is Everts, with Everts in front of him, with Demaria closing. So whether that collarbone problem of Everts is beginning to take its toll, well, you just imagine breaking your collarbone and then riding a full 30-minute plus 2-lap motocross event 2 weeks later. Well, that takes a lot of courage. 6-inch pin in that shoulder, titanium pin. But there's the leader, the American, Jeff Emig. 2nd place, also American. Now under pressure from the Belgium, Everts, John Dowd it is, number 64, and Everts is still in touch. Stefan Everts, what a challenging little rider. Former 125cc world champion, has tried once already to win this 250 championship, and try as he might, he just doesn't seem to be able to get there in the end. Still the 2 Americans, 1 and 2, and it's the 2 Belgians, 3 and 4. Everts being the man in 4th place. Demaria looks to have dropped back a little bit. I don't know what's happened to him. Obviously he's been off. Volley coming through. There's Voland. And there is Albertyn. That start really has played a crucial decision on where he's going to finish in this race. He really did get hooked up when they clouted that cameraman on the first corner. And I should imagine now he's feeling pretty sorry for himself. It is still as it was, with Everts and Everts trying to close on the 2 Americans, and you can hear the local crowd right behind their native riders. Demaria just gone through. The battle is certainly on for the lower placings. Kurt Nicol there, the British rider, number 4. This is not a good one for him. It really is, and there's Albertyn. Well, he is way down. He's got Donny Schmidt, the ex-American, or exiled American, but it's going to be a win then for number 92. Jeff Emig, to the delight of the crowd, but look at this 2nd place man. Came through, it was Everts. 3rd then was Dowd, and 4th was Everts. 5th, Demaria. And Stefan Everts there in some distress. He requires a drink. It's very humid here at Bud Creek. The Americans are very used to this temperature, but not the Europeans. He desperately needs a drink to Stefan. But there is the winner, Jeff Emig, looking very cool and calm. Race 2 to come. Mike Healy then, that's a young man that we've seen over the years racing various categories of bikes in Europe, but he's here for a one-off ride in this 250 Grand Prix. There's Greg Albertyn just surveying the scene, wondering what he can do in Heat 2 as fastest man in time training this morning comes down onto the line, the Frenchman Demaria, and picks the same gate. Everts, Nicol. Everts finishing second in the first heat. Albertyn thinking, I need to stay out of trouble. Everts, well watered and ready for Heat 2. 13 beside him as they settle up. There is Heat 1 winner, 92, Jeff Emig. All that final preparations being made by all the riders. 48 beside that group with Steve Lamerson. There is Bartolini and the Frenchman Demaria. 8 is Talon 3 we looked at just momentarily there, Schmidt. As the board is readied, there it is, 15 seconds. Let's hope they keep the cameraman out of the way this time. 5-second board, gates go, oh, they jumped it. Well, oh, well, they're going to let this go. About 3 of them jumped the gate, and I'm fairly sure they're going to stop this and bring them back and start them again. Yes, indeed they do. Well, whether or not they're going to penalise those gate jumpers or not, I don't know, but certainly about 3 or even more misread the gate. They tried to go too soon. Let's see if we can get it clean this time. Oh, someone got it. Someone really got a good front wheel over the gate that time, but he got away with it. Round that first corner, here they come. Down they drop into the bottom of the circuit for the first time. They sort themselves out. Just look at this for high-flying stuff. And it is Albertyn, number 1, who led off the gates. Albie making amends for that first race. Everts there, back in around 4th as they sort themselves out on this first lap. But the South African Albertyn, whoa, nearly for somebody there. Robbie Herring, number 12, going through. Didn't have a good first race. But it is the South African, number 1, Greg Albertyn, who heads Heat 2 away. We're looking back for second. It's Talon, the American. 91, that's Jeff Stanton. So Stanton this time managed to get a good start. Obviously no cameramen lurking on the corners. Stanton, well, somebody's gone down, and it's Albertyn. Steve Lamerson and Demaria went ahead of him. It is now then Volan that leads from Stanton. And we're hearing that this is the last Grand Prix that Stanton will ride. Well, what can you say about Jeff Stanton? Former American Supercross champion, former American 250 champion. Albertyn now with Werner DeWitt behind him, his teammate. And he must be absolutely cursing himself for that. Look at this. This is Volan, Stanton and Everts as the American commentators join us here in the programme, giving us all the local information. And look at this, Albertyn beginning to close back on him again. There's Bartolini beside him. We're back at the front, catching up back markers. That's Talon Volan, and Everts has gone through to second. Stanton down to third, and he's got Albertyn fourth, climbing all over him. So Albertyn really does want that back. There's Bartolini behind him, 79. There's Albertyn again, and he's up with Stefan Everts. These are the 2 that are battling for championship honours at the moment. But it's Albertyn that's got, or had the 30 points, although that'll be a little less coming after the first race. But Stefan needs to keep Albertyn behind him. JHK Kawasaki versus BFE Johnson Suzuki. There's Bartolini, Demaria going through, and Stanton dropping back. Obviously getting tired, so it's Volan from Everts, from Albertyn at the moment. So we've got 3 regular 250 Grand Prix runners. And that looks like DeWitt behind him, so that's 4 of our regulars up front at the moment. So where's all the American superstars? Emig, no sign of him. Dowd, Stanton has dropped off the pace. And, well, oh dear, Albertyn looks to be cruising. Now that could be He's got a problem there. That could be a reoccurrence of an ignition problem that they had earlier in the season. So the positions are changing. And look at Demaria climbing all over Stefan Everts. The Frenchman wanting extra points to whip it behind those two. So he's picked up a place with the exit of Albertyn. But Volan it is at the front. Everts chasing. And it looks, where are we? Look at it. No, Demaria is still there. As you can see, the American stars and stripes being waved, but they've not much to wave at the moment. Although, saying that, they've got an American lead in the race. If not a regular Grand Prix. Demaria to second then. That's Everts down to third, so the Frenchman finding that second breath. Then it's DeWitt, first of the BFE. Team Johnson Suzuki riders with Albertyn out. They come down the hill, the leader, number 8, Talon Volan, and they're pleased, the locals are pleased, that's Demaria chasing him. So it could be a win for a Frenchman by the checkered, and Everts visibly going slower. I can only wonder whether that shoulder of his, that collarbone, is beginning to take its toll. But he's still scoring points, and it's the Frenchman. Yves Demaria has taken the lead and the checkered flag then. Volan finishes second. Everts, under pressure from DeWitt, should come home in third. And DeWitt was fourth. And there's Demaria, hot but chuffed with a 20 points and a race win. Albertyn, well, what can you say? Except hard luck. And there's Werner DeWitt alongside his teammate. They are absolutely decimated by this. But Albertyn still leads the World 250 Championship by a slender margin. Everts receiving treatment onto that shoulder. But to the winners, as always, goes the kisses from the lovely girls.
Situated close to the famous Valkenswaard circuit is Van der Werf, a company that manufacture a full range of awnings and tents used by the world's top race teams, made and fitted the same day. Van der Werf also hire out a full range of VIP marquees and will travel anywhere. For further information, ring Holland 04902 16815 using the international code of 31.
Suzuki's Greg Albertyn leads the 250cc World Championship, 8 points ahead of his closest rival. Greg looks set to retain his world title, riding his Suzuki RM250. Suzuki teammates Monique Bavorts and Werner DeWitt back up Albertyn in his championship bid. Suzuki, simply the best.
Round 13 of the World 250cc Motocross Championship comes to Venezuela and Maracay. Here, the garage of Greg Albertyn, the current championship leader. Just 8 points lead at the moment over second place man, the Belgian Stefan Everts. So Greg needing to make sure he gets results here at this 13th round today. Very hot and humid. There is the garage of his main protagonist, Everts, number 2 on the JHK Kawasaki. 75 his teammate, Yogi Carlson. Number 3, the Chesterfield bike unpacked of Donny Schmidt. Schmidt injuring a knee at the previous round in America. 79, the bike is teammate of Andre Bartolini. And Bartolini now surrounded by double the amount of mechanics than he normally has. Number 9 there, Edwin Evertson. Hasn't been a good season for Evertson. 1994, he'll look back on it and think, well, where really did I go wrong? Everything being shipped over. There's Albertyn putting on those very valuable knee and leg protectors. The Brit rider here, number 4, Kurt Nicol on the Castrol Honda. And really, Nicol, he's not had a bad championship so far, but I suppose some say it could have been better. Number 12, his compatriot, number 12, Robbie Herring, the Fish, on the WJ's Kawasaki, and it hasn't been his best season. But there is the JHK man himself, Stefan Everts, the Belgian, looking for a good result here in Venezuela, maybe hoping to take command of the championship before they go to Japan, the penultimate round. Callum Volan, number 8, the American, led a race in the States. 79, Bartolini, with, as you can see, so many mechanics at hand. Well, if he doesn't do well today, he never will, I suppose. He's got enough hands. There's Albertyn, sheltering from the sun. It's very hot and humid here today. And Stefan Everts, well, that's a demonstration of how Stefan Everts devours his dinner. Alec Wright there, the JHK team manager. Final preparations. A little bit of rejetting of the carbs for the bikes. Having a lot of trouble with carburation. Kurt Nicol looking through on last year's notes. And he's Robbie Herring there talking to team members. It's all about keeping notes on what you did last year. Number 1, the pit of the champion, Greg Albertyn. On go the new tyres, courtesy of Dunlop. Usually they do it with a wonderful little machine. It's all done by hand. Now this is the Robbie Herring's mechanic, Mick Aldous, with a broken foot. Apparently he fell whilst attempting to either get in or out of the swimming pool. We can talk about that one later, I suppose. But there's Stefan Everts receiving some treatment on that collarbone of his. It's now 3 weeks since, or 4 weeks now, since he broke that collarbone. He rode in the United States the week before and had a couple of good results despite the injury in the 6-inch pin that he has in that shoulder. Here's the riders sheltering from the heat as they come down onto the line for the start of race 1. Now, you just watch this 5-second board, man. There goes the flag man. Well, he's decided that off the track is the best place to be. Gate drops. Look at this. Olympic Christie, eat your heart out, as they say. Into that first corner, the left-hander. Everybody looks to have got through safely. And it is the Brit Kurt Nicol riding the Castrol Honda. Everts there behind him. Then it's Everts, Demaria, and Elsa Albertyn. Phantom is behind that crew. There he goes, number 13. But this is a great start to this Venezuelan Grand Prix for Kurt Nicol. Everts, the Frenchman Demaria. There's Albertyn, the defending champ. Only 8 points between himself and Everts going into this heat. And bear in mind, Everts is now second at the moment behind this man, Kurt Nicol, former 500 World Grand Prix rider. Went to 250s 2 years ago. And this is his second year in 250s. Got the number 4 plate in his first year. That's what I call determination and commitment. But the Belgian, Stefan Everts, the younger of the 2 men, charging in second place. Everts, the Frenchman, then Albertyn after Demaria. Phantom is still there behind that group, but Nicol hanging on to this lead at the moment. This has got to be one of the best rides for Kurt Nicol so far this season, but he really is committed. The training pays off, the commitment trains off, and this is where it all comes together on the track. Kurt Nicol, number 4, Everts 2. Nothing separating them but Everts, Demaria, then Everts' teammate Albertyn, and Everts has found a way through. Everts has gone to the lead. It's Everts, Nicol second, then Albertyn 4th. He's got past Demaria. So the Frenchman having to put his head down to go back after Albertyn. They really are starting to chop and change places. Evertson just gone through there. There's Bartolini. Oh, nearly colliding with Bollet number 14. Bollet, the French Chesterfield runner, and Bartolini, the official Yamaha Chesterfield runner. So not quite teammates, but very nearly coming to grief. And look at Albertyn. He can see those points evaporating. If Everts finishes in front of him, there goes Everts. We're looking back behind Everts, and it is Albertyn now second. So where's Nicol? There's Bevorts. Nicol down to fourth. Demaria behind him as they start to pick off the back markers. But Stefan Everts looking good for 20 points at the moment, and Albertyn desperately needs to do something about this. There he is. Back markers again as Bevorts comes through third. And the mechanics, well, how far can they get into the track? Greg Albertyn, the South African, who is off to America racing for 1995. Whether he does or does not win this 250 Grand Prix Championship for the second time, he is off to the States. So Albertyn coming through, number one. Back markers once again. We're looking back for Bevorts and Demaria, and well, there's Everts. So we've thinking that Albertyn had gone up. He has indeed now taken the lead. So Greg Albertyn leading. I don't know what happened to Everts. I think they must have had a little coming together somewhere around the circuit, out of our camera's shot, and no doubt that was fraught with all sorts of intentions. But it is Albertyn, the championship leader. He will extend till 11 points if he can win this one. Nicol going through, beginning to drop off the pace. But as they say, it's always good to get the starts. Albertyn then, taking heat one, 20 points. Looking back for second place man, and is it his teammate? It is Marnik Bevorts. And we're looking, there is Everts. Everts coming through, and I'm not wholly sure whether he finished third or fourth. And Greg Albertyn gets a good soaking in water. It's very hot and humid here today. And now for the presentation. Well, fourth it was then for Stefan Everts, with the Frenchman Yves Demaria finishing third. And I should imagine that Stefan will be disappointed about that. But there's Talon Volan, number 8, coming down onto the line. Out of the shade. It's very hot. The rider's dehydrating quite badly. Third place man then in heat 1. Demaria. 4 is Nicol. He finished 5th. Bevorts, DeWitt, and Bartolini, number 79, the only Chesterfield official factory Chesterfield runner here today, with the absence of Donny Schmidt. Heat 2, how quick's that man going to be this time? There he goes. Into that first corner, they drift wide into the grass. Everybody looks to have got through quite safely. It looks like Demaria. There's Everts and Albertyn, so I think it was Demaria and DeWitt, 1 and 2. Parker just went through. They are sorting themselves out, but it's the Frenchman Demaria. Everts, but I'm sure that's Werner DeWitt sandwiched between them. Nicol is also amongst that leading group. That's a good run for the British rider. Yes, indeed, DeWitt. Everts. Then it's Albertyn. Then it's Nicol. Then it's Bevorts. Then it was Parker. It is still the Frenchman leading, and Albertyn with a lot of intent. He still has the lead in the championship, has extended it slightly after the first heat, winning that one and taking the 20 points. But he's got Stefan Everts right behind him now. Greg Albertyn just has to keep finishing in front of the Belgian. But DeWitt, a fine second for him at the moment. Albertyn 4th for Everts. It should then be Nicol. Yes, indeed it was. He flashed through there. You saw the blue jersey, the Frenchman, 77. Yves Demaria leading Heat 2 here at Maracay in Venezuela. And it's Everts chasing the British rider Kurt Nicol. The Frenchman. The two Johnson's BFE Suzuki riders chasing the Frenchman at the moment. De Witt and Albertyn. And De Witt really is putting on the style here at the moment. Albertyn going for gold. He wants to win this second one, I feel. He's not content to stay back there in third place. He wants the 20 points. Nicol coming through, waiting behind Nicol there as the rest of the pack scream through over the jumps. And Albertyn is at the back again. He's been down. Well, this seems to be a trait now with Albertyn. He gets a good start, or gets a bad start, but seems to drop it and have to work his way back up. So that would put De Witt at the full. It would have put De Witt up a place, I think. Now, well, there's Demaria going through. Well, there is now there's De Witt. It's getting very confusing now. They're dropping all over the place. There's Everts. So that would put Everts to third, Nicol to fourth. There's Everts and there's Albertyn. That puts him back in about sixth place. And that tyre just not hooking up there on that corner, stuck in the rut. Here's the race leader, Demaria. He is making no mistake whatsoever at the moment. Second place man, number 7, Werner De Witt. Third place man, number 2. Loving to put the number 1 on that bike for 1995, Stefan Everts. Then it's Everts. Should be Nicol, yes indeed. And Albertyn's still there in 6th. He's got to catch Nicol. Before he goes anywhere, he'll have to catch the British rider. And he will try, that's for sure. Well, in America, ignition problems struck in the second race, putting him out. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that they've cured those problems for the race here in Venezuela. Winning Heat 1, 77 Demaria, at the moment leading Heat 2. Johnson's BFE Suzuki man, Werner De Witt. Now it's Everts, so look at this, Stefan Everts dropping down to 4th. That's only 13 points. Well, what can you say about this young man? Number 1, Greg Albertyn. Checkered flag then for Yves Demaria, the Frenchman. He's elated with that one. Looking back for second, it should be Werner De Witt, number 7. And indeed it is. And behind De Witt, we keep our breaths held firmly. It's Everts. Monique Everts taking third and 13 points. Then, number 2, Stefan Everts, 4th. And try as he may, number 1, Greg Albertyn, finishing 5th.